to St. William's podcast. We're your hosts, Josephine and Krista. Today we're here talking to a member of the Australian Olympic water polo team, Aussie Stingers goalkeeper Gabriel Palm.
Gabriella, welcome to St. William's. Thank you for taking part in our podcast.
Let's start with your origins and inspiration. Can you start by sharing with us what inspired you to play water polo?
Well, I started playing water polo when I was in year 7. It was a way for me to meet new friends before I started at my high school. I actually didn't want to play water polo at the start because swimming isn't my favourite thing, which seems a bit weird for a water polo player, right? I wasn't a great freestyler, but I loved breaststroke, and so I gave it a go. And I went, and one of the coaches just asked me if I wanted to give goalkeeping a go, and I thought, why not? So I became the goalkeeper, and things just went from there, and that's how I became a goalkeeper, which seems really weird. So I kind of just stumbled upon water polo, and I loved it only by giving it a go, and it's led me to where I am now.
Do you have any siblings, and do they play any sports?
So I have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me. She started playing water polo as well when she was in school. She didn't really like it as much as I did, so she quit. But she used to be a rower. She's really strong, so she rowed all through school. And we also used to play netball when we were younger.
What hobbies do you do when you're not playing water polo?
I am a really big bookworm. I love to read. I think that I follow lots of different book clubs online to see what all the new fiction novels are out at the time, and I love getting lost in a book between sessions or on the weekend. I love curling up on the couch with a cup of tea and a book and getting lost in it, so I love to read, and all my team loves to read as well. Some of us, we all bring a book on tour and we do this massive book swap, so we're all reading different things and we're all talking about it together. It's good fun.
What other sports do you play?
At the moment, I only have time to do water polo. It takes up, because I do it professionally, I am training so many times during the week. Sometimes I'll do 13 sessions in a week. I'll do 10 sessions in the pool, but then I go to gym 3 times a week because it's really important that we do our strength and stuff. But when I was in primary school, I was doing any sport I could. I was doing netball, I was running, I'd play touch, and so I would try and play as many sports as I could until I had to try and specialise in water polo to get where I was.
How old were you when you first started playing, and then when did you get into international competitions?
So I started playing when I was 12, and I made my first state team when I was 14. And then I made my first Australian team, the junior team, when I was 16. And then I started playing internationally for the Stingers, the Aussie Stingers. That's the Australian women's team. I debuted for them when I was 17, so I've been in the Stingers now for coming up to 8 years, so it's been a while.
How long have you been training for water polo, and how often do you train each week?
So I have been... like I said before, sometimes I'll train 13 sessions a week, which gets so tiring. But sometimes it's so important to have all those sessions when we're together as a team, because when you're trying to form connections in the pool with your teammates, that just requires so much time. So sometimes at the moment we're training a lot in preparation for Paris.
What do you like most about playing?
There are so many things I like about playing. One of the great things I think about water polo is being in a team. I love being in a team, which means that when I go to play, I'm with 12 of my really good friends, and we get to do it together, and it's a shared experience. So I can rely on other people and they can rely on me, and we can do that all together, and it means that we get to travel to really awesome places, and when I'm having a tough time or someone's having a tough time, we can lean on each other and go through it together. And some of my best friends have come out of water polo, so that's a really cool thing about a team sport.
As an elite athlete, you must have had lots of experiences and achievements. You mentioned your highest achievement is the Tokyo Olympics and winning bronze at the World Championships. Could you pick a favourite?
It's really tricky to split the two, because there's something really special about the Olympics. When I went to Tokyo and you go into the Olympic Village, it's just a really incredible experience because you just get to see athletes from all over the world, and there's just nothing quite like it. But winning a bronze medal was also really cool, to stand up on the podium with my team and get presented that medal. That was really special too. So I don't know if I'd be able to split them.
What is the biggest challenge you face with water polo?
One of the biggest challenge, I think when you play sport at a really high level, there are so many challenges. But one I find is, and it's still something that I try and do all the time, is making sure that I try and show up really consistently for my team, because like goalkeepers are a pretty important role. So it's making sure that I try and show up to every session, every game, and try and be the best that I can be, whether that means I'm having, a day where other things are going on in my life and I'm a little bit anxious, or I'm really happy. I've got to try and figure out a way to make sure that I can be there for my team every day.
Yeah. How does it feel to have achieved bronze at World Championships?
It was really exciting. It was a really close game. So we were playing Hungary and they were leading in the first half. So we really had to come together for the second half and really try and give it to them, because the Hungarians are really aggressive. They really like to grab you and they're mean. So we ended up beating them only by 1. And so when it's a really exciting game like that, and to come away with the win, it was so exciting. Like at the end when we won, all my team jumped in the pool and we're all hugging each other because it was just such a cool moment.
How does it feel to be recognised as an Aussie Stinger?
I love being able to be an Aussie Stinger. I really love what my team has created, and what we're doing is like we try and, so the Aussie Stingers, the women, they won gold at 2000, and so we have, as the Stingers, like even well before I was playing, we've created like a really great legacy for water polo. So, and my teammates are some really great women, so I'm really proud to play alongside them and to call myself an Aussie Stinger, and to how we show up in the pool and the way we play. I think what we're building is really special, and I hope to make it a really cool place that maybe if you two ever play water polo and you go into the Aussie Stingers or any other little girl, that it's just a really great team to be a part of.
Yeah. Were you excited or nervous about competing in the Olympics?
I was a little bit nervous at first because it's the Olympics, it's the big stage. But I was also really excited because it's the Olympics, so it was a little bit of both, but it was everything I was working towards. So to be able to go there and know that I was playing at the Olympics and have those high quality games, it was really exciting.
How did it feel walking out for the opening ceremony?
I unfortunately didn't get to go to the opening ceremony. So sometimes what happens is it's actually a really long process to go for the opening ceremony, because there's so many athletes from all different sports, all other countries. So what happens is, the way that the Olympics do it, they have to shuttle athletes on buses, and there's lots of waiting time, and you have to go walk. So sometimes the whole process can take like 8 hours, and it's really tiring. And so in Tokyo, we were competing the next day, and as much as there's all those really cool things with the Olympics, performance comes first. And so we decided as a team that we were going to prioritise our performance and making sure that we were well rested for the next day. So we didn't get to walk in the opening ceremony, but at the Australia Tower we all got to put on our opening ceremony dresses, and we did a little walk up and down just all together. So we made our own opening ceremony.
Some say the goalkeeper has the biggest responsibility. Do you agree with this, and do you feel pressured in or out of the water at any time?
I always say that the goalkeeper is the most important job, and sometimes coaches say that to me too, but when you ask some of the other girls in my team, I don't know if they'd agree, because they think they're the most important person. But they say that the goalkeeper is the last line of defence, and sometimes it's really tricky, because oftentimes when I make a mistake or the team makes a mistake, it's reflected on the scoreboard, and sometimes that's really hard to see. So in that sense, it's really challenging, but that kind of risk, and it also makes it really fun because I'm a little bit special. Like, I'm the only one in the pool with a red cap, so I look a little bit different to everyone, so that part of it's cool.
Who played a big role in your journey to the Olympics and World Championships?
I would say, there's lots of people that have helped me get to where I am. Like, I've had lots of, coaches that have really helped me and lots of teammates who have helped me get in the way, but I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without my mum, because, when I was younger and I was trying to get to all my practices and whatnot, like, she was the one that would wake up early and drive me, and when I'd be complaining about not wanting to go swimming, she'd be the one that would go, Gabby, this is what you chose, like, you need to do that. Or she'd always be, my biggest support or my number one fan, and even now she's the one that's cheering loudly for me in the crowd. So I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without my mum.
We talk a lot about our mindset and the influence it has in our learning. We know that preparation can influence our mindset a lot. What's your mindset like when you face challenges?
Sometimes when I face challenges, it's really easy for me to get a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit nervous and anxious, right? You can feel your chest get really high and you start breathing really rapidly. And it happens in games as well when, like, our emotions are really heightened. So what I try and do is, I've been really working on my breathing. I like to try and take 3 really centered breaths to help bring me back from the moment and to try and take my focus away from my thoughts racing and to keep me in the moment, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in all of that and all our thoughts and stuff. So to help me keep my focus and keep me back into what I'm doing, I try and take 3 really deep breaths, and then I try and focus on stuff around the room to keep me in the present. And it's really hard, and it's something that I'm still trying to practice, but I have to keep coming back to it.
We use dispositions: persistent, resilient, innovative, collaborative and engaged. Which disposition do you feel represents you the most? Why? Does this change when you're playing?
I think there's a few there that I like to connect with. I think at the moment for me, as we're preparing the best to get to Paris, collaborative's a really big one, because at the moment, as much as I'm trying to do what's best for me as a player, I'm part of a team sport, so I've got to make sure that I'm working with my team and our coaching staff to make sure that we're delivering the best result we can as a team. And I know I can't do that by myself, so I have to make sure that I'm engaging with everybody else and we're collaborating together. But also resilience is a really big one. Sometimes you're going to have sessions where sessions are really hard or things don't quite go my way, and I have to keep bouncing back and coming back to team's goal and what we want to do, and I think that's a really big one.
How do you prepare for a game? Do you have any game day rituals?
So usually before a game we get a bus to the pool as a team. I like to stick my headphones in and listen to my music. I've got a playlist that I like to listen to before each game, which helps me get in the zone. And then before each game I have a certain warm-up exercises and different activation things that help get me prepared that I like to do before each game. So sometimes that consistency before I play games and whatnot is really helpful, because I know then before each game I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. I just know what I have to do, and it's one less thing for me to think about.
Which teammate are you closest with? What do you do with your team to celebrate a win?
I'm lucky that I have a lot of friends that I'm closest with in the team. One of the girls I'm closest with, her name is Abby. We were at the same high school together, we played at the same club together, so we've had a lot of shared experiences together, so we like to lean on each other a lot. And I think when we celebrate, we, like I was saying before, we love to jump in the pool. There's some really cool photos of us when the girls are on the bench. We get really passionate when we're cheering, and we have, we're getting, some girls you can see their veins on their head from how loudly they're screaming and cheering. So we're just really passionate. We love to cheer each other on.
What do you think makes up a good team?
I think what makes up a good team, and one of the values the Aussie Stingers use, is respect. And I think what we really try and do is we respect everyone's individual differences, and I think that's what makes a really good team, understanding that everyone brings something different and making sure we harness everyone's different strengths, and that's how we're going to get the best out of everyone, because like I'm going to bring something that's really different to you, and so making sure that we all come together as a team is like understanding that, recognizing it, and then using it.
What skills would you like to improve?
What skills would I like to improve? I think there's always stuff that I like to improve. At the moment, so I'm in one of the leadership roles in my team, and so what I'm constantly trying to improve is how I communicate to different girls in the pool, and try and like not only in the pool but being able to have those like conversations with people outside of the pool, like recognizing when maybe someone's not feeling okay or they're having a rough day, being able to sit with them and ask them what's going on and have those different conversations. It's really hard, but it's something that I want to keep trying building, because I know that that's going to help me and it's going to help the team, and yeah.
Surely competing at an Olympic level can be nerve-wracking. Do you have any tips on how to de-stress before games?
I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. I think that I try and keep to my processes and like try and keep that consistency. And it's also for me recognizing that nerves are really normal. It's actually really good that I get nervous, because it means I really care. But it's for me trying not to get too caught up in it. So it's like recognizing that my nerves are really normal and trying to play with that. And that's when I come back to my breathing and try and recognizing like what I need to do in this present moment, and not trying to get too caught up in my nerves.
We might move on to advice now. What would you say to other people working towards going to the Olympics?
What I would say? I think what I would say is that all in all throughout the journey, it's really important, I think, that you keep loving the sport, because at the end of the day, that's why I started playing water polo. That's how I kind of kept going through, because I really love playing water polo, and sometimes it becomes really difficult with the amount of training you have to do and the amount of hours you put in. So when you come back to, that's my why. That's why I like to do it. I love playing water polo and I love being with my team. So it's remembering and holding on to that. So when times get really tough or training gets really tough, I know that I can fall back on that.
Did any of your family members help you along the way?
Yeah, my family's always been a big support for me. Like I was saying, my mum, she's always been my number one fan, and so my family are always trying to stream my games. So sometimes when we're playing over in Europe and the time difference is terrible, like Europe's 8 hours behind, I know that I'll get messages from my family where they're waking up at 2 a.m. to watch my games. So they're always watching me, they're always supporting me, and it's a big help knowing that I've got like my people in my corner.
Have you heard of the program It's For You 2032? And if so, what are your thoughts on these sorts of programs? Are you involved in this in any way?
I've heard of it. I think it's a really cool opportunity to try and get young people into a high performance sport. I'm not involved in it because I think it's a little bit different with water polo, but I think there's certain sports where they're able to do these markers, and you can go and do testing and they can see if your testing marks up and they can filter you into sports. So I think that if you're someone who knows that that's what they want to do but they're not quite sure, or they haven't quite found a sport yet, it's a really cool way to see if that's going to work for you. So I think it's a really cool thing.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
I get asked this question a lot. I actually really like this question though, because I think I sometimes look at a photo of my younger self when I was playing water polo, and so I think about what I would say to her. I think I would still say just make sure that I try and play for her. I try and keep thinking about what she thought when she was playing water polo and how much fun it was, and I would just say that try and keep doing that. But also, things aren't always gonna happen the way you think they are. You're gonna hit challenges and roadblocks and whatnot, but it's your ability to fight through that and your resistance, your resilience and your persistence to go through that if that's something that you really want.
We just really want to say thank you for coming and joining our podcast. It's really been cool meeting you.
Thank you for having me. You guys did a great job asking questions. I'm so happy I could be here.